In 2021, a federal crew pulled a fish out of the Detroit River that weighed 240 pounds. It was longer than the man holding it. It was heavier than the man holding it. And it had been swimming in that water, breathing, feeding, growing, since before that man's grandfather was born, because this particular fish was somewhere over 100 years old. It was not a shark. It was not from the ocean. It was a lake sturgeon, a freshwater fish, and there are more of them down there. In water Americans swim in and boat over and photograph for postcards, without any idea what is holding still beneath the surface. We tend to think we know how big a fish gets, something you reel in, hold up for a photo, and fit in a cooler. But American freshwater is hiding animals that break that idea completely. Fish that outweigh a grown adult. Fish that were already old when your parents were children. Fish that never truly stop growing as long as they live. Today we are counting down 9 monster fish living in American lakes and rivers that grow bigger than the people who catch them. Ranked not by which one is heaviest on paper, but by how completely each one shatters what you thought was possible in freshwater. And by the time we reach number 1, you will understand why the calm surface of an American lake tells you absolutely nothing about the size of what is living under it. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe now. It takes 2 seconds. And tell me one thing in the comments. What is the biggest fish you have ever seen pulled out of the water? I want to hear it. Now, let us get under the surface. Number 9. The muskellunge. We start with the fish anglers call the fish of 10,000 casts, because you can spend a lifetime on a lake and never land one. The muskellunge, the muskie, is a long, torpedo-shaped ambush predator that haunts the weed edges of northern lakes, and it can pass 60 pounds and stretch over 5 feet. That is where this list begins, at a fish already longer than a child is tall, and every number from here only gets larger. It hangs motionless in the shallows and strikes with a violence that has torn lures apart and pulled tackle out of hands. The reason it starts the list is not its size, but its ghostliness. A muskie can share a small lake with swimmers all summer and never once be seen. A 5-foot predator holding in water people wade through invisible until the instant it decides to move. Number 9 belongs to the giant almost no one on the lake will ever even know is there. Number 8. The paddlefish. Now to a fish that looks like it swam straight out of another planet. The paddlefish has a long, flat, blade-shaped snout that makes up nearly 1/3 of its body, a smooth, scaleless hide, and a mouth it holds wide open as it swims, filtering tiny plankton out of the water. It can pass 7 feet and over 120 pounds, and it drifts through the big rivers and reservoirs of the American heartland like something prehistoric, which it is. The paddlefish has existed for over 300 million years, older than the dinosaurs, and it does all of that giant, ancient growth by eating some of the smallest food in the lake. The denial here is that people assume a monster must be a hunter. This one is a gentle giant that got enormous on plankton, and almost nobody watching a Missouri reservoir has any idea it is down there. Number 8 goes to the alien giant that has outlived the dinosaurs on a diet of dust. Number 7. The lake trout. Now to a fish almost everyone thinks they understand and badly underestimates. Lake trout live in the cold, deep, dark water of northern lakes, far below where anyone swims, and in the biggest, oldest lakes, they grow to sizes that stop making sense for a trout. Fish over 50 pounds have come out of the deep, cold water, and in the far north, they can live for decades, some past 40 years old. The denial is the word trout, which brings to mind a small silver thing in a mountain stream. But down in the black water of a deep lake, out of sight and out of mind, the same fish becomes a slow, cold, long-lived giant. Number 7 belongs to the deep water heavyweight, hiding under the friendliest name in fishing. Number 6, the blue catfish. Now we get to real weight. The blue catfish is the largest catfish in North America, and it has been introduced into rivers and reservoirs far beyond its native range, where it grows without limit. The rod and reel record stands at over 140 pounds, and commercial nets have pulled up bigger. A fish this size is as long as a person is tall, a slab of muscle moving along the bottom in the dark. The denial is comfort. Catfish is a friendly word, a fish fry, a whiskered bottom feeder. But a blue cat pushing 140 pounds is an apex predator of the river bottom, eating whatever fits in its mouth, and it is quietly taking over waterways where it was never meant to be. Number 6 goes to the gentle-sounding giant swallowing entire rivers whole. Number 5, the flathead catfish. We are right at the halfway mark, and if you are still here, you are clearly someone who actually wants to know what is down there. So hit subscribe if you have not yet, because from here, the fish stop making sense. The flathead is the other catfish giant, and it is different from the blue in one unsettling way. It does not scavenge. It hunts live prey, and it hides in the darkest, tightest cover it can find. The undercut bank, the sunken log, the flooded cave, waiting for something to swim past. The record is over 120 pounds, and the biggest ones live exactly where a person reaches when a line snags or a hand feels along a submerged ledge. The denial is where it lives, not what it weighs. People know catfish get big. What they do not picture is a 100-pound ambush predator wedged into the black hollow of a riverbank, in the precise spot swimmers grab for a handhold. Number 5 belongs to the giant that lives in the one place you cannot see and sometimes reach into anyway. Number 4, the bull shark. Now to the one that should not be on a list about lakes and rivers at all. The bull shark is an ocean animal, and yet it can regulate the salt in its own body, which lets it swim out of the sea and up into fresh water, into rivers and into lakes connected to the coast. Females reach 11 feet and several hundred pounds. They have been recorded far up the Mississippi River, hundreds of miles from the ocean. The denial here is the deepest kind because it is disbelief. A shark is filed under ocean permanently, so a large gray shape in a river gets explained away as anything else. A big catfish, a log, a trick of the current. But it is the one animal on this list that grows to monster size in salt water and then carries that size straight into fresh. Number 4 belongs to the sea monster that swims upriver and refuses to stay where the map says it should. Number 3, the white sturgeon. Now to the largest freshwater fish in all of North America. The white sturgeon is a living relic, armored in rows of bony plates instead of scales, with a body shape that has barely changed in 100 million years. It has been reported to reach lengths of 15 to 20 feet and weights approaching a full ton, and it can live well over 100 years, meaning a single fish in a river today may have been alive before that river had a dam. The denial is that people do not believe a freshwater fish can reach the size of a small boat. But these giants roam the deep rivers and connected waters of the Pacific Northwest, occasionally launching their entire prehistoric bulk clear out of the water like something that has no business being that large. Number 3 goes to the 1,000-pound living fossil that has been growing in American water since before there was an America. Number 2, the alligator gar. Before we reach number 1, understand that this is the fish that earns the whole title. In 2011, a commercial fisherman on the Mississippi pulled an alligator gar out of his net that weighed 327 pounds. When biologists examined it, they determined the fish was 99 years old. It had been swimming that river since before the Great Depression. The alligator gar is the second largest freshwater fish on the continent, reaching over 10 feet and past 300 pounds, armored in hard diamond scales, with a long snout lined with 2 rows of teeth. Its lineage goes back over 100 million years, which means it was already ancient when the last dinosaur died. And it lives not in some remote wilderness, but in the lakes, reservoirs, and slow rivers of the American South, water where people fish and ski and swim all summer. The denial is that a fish this size, this old, this prehistoric, is treated as a local curiosity instead of the monster it plainly is. Number 2 belongs to the 300-pound living dinosaur hiding in southern water in plain sight. Number 1, the lake sturgeon. Stay with me, because we end where we began, with the fish from the opening, and the reason it sits at number 1 is not that it is the biggest. It is that it is the one you are most likely to be swimming above without ever knowing it. The lake sturgeon is the giant of the Great Lakes and the rivers that feed them, the oldest and largest native fish of that entire system. It can pass 7 feet and, as that federal crew proved in the Detroit River, weigh over 240 pounds. But the number that matters most is time. A lake sturgeon can live more than 100 years. The females may not even begin to reproduce until they are in their 20s, and they spawn only once every several years, which means the giant on the bottom of that lake is not just large, it is old in a way almost nothing else in the water is. A single animal that has watched a century pass from beneath the surface. And here is the thread that ties all 9 together. We look at a lake and we see a flat, finite, knowable thing. A place to swim, to boat, to cool off on a hot afternoon. We do not see the century-old giant holding motionless in the cold water below the boat, because seeing it would change what the lake is. These fish did not hide from us. They were here first. They grow larger and older than we are prepared to imagine, and the calm surface we trust was never a measure of what is beneath it. It was only ever the lid. So the next time you are floating on a quiet American lake, remember the fish in the Detroit River. Longer than a man, heavier than a man, older than almost anyone alive, still down there. And it is far from the only one. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe and stay with the channel. And tell me in the comments, what is the biggest thing you have ever seen come out of the water?